I took my first drum lesson at 8 years old, played all through school, always had a band. At the age of 14, I became interested in jazz. I loved to listen to jazz. But I kept studying, always had a teacher, played all through school, and then I graduated from high school in '69. I was playing at a club on Crenshaw Boulevard in LA called Mavericks Flat, and I was playing with a group called the Master's Children. Maurice and Burdine came into town, saw me playing at the club, and they needed a drummer because they were reforming Earth, Wind, and Fire, because there was another Earth, Wind, and Fire that cut 2 albums on Warner Brothers.
Wow.
Did you know
No,
this?
I didn't know this.
There are 2 albums that Earth, Wind, and Fire cut on Warner Brothers. The group that everybody came to know is the one that was signed to Columbia Records by Clive Davis. My musical career just went on from there. We auditioned for Clive. He signed us 72. 75, we had our first hit. And it just kind of went on from there. I went on and started writing stuff and trying to do some productions here and there.
And what was that hit?
Shining Star.
That's one of your staples.
We do it every night. We open the show with Shining Star, and we close with September. And then you get everything else in between. What do you want to hear? Reasons, Fantasy,
Yeah.
Let's Groove, you know.
So many.
It's a stack of hits, man. You know, look, I tell people I've been very blessed.
Yeah.
There's nothing special about me. I'm just a drummer. I was in the right place at the right time. They loved what they heard. They asked me to join the group. I was drafted.
Who was your influence as a drummer?
Oh, man. That's a long list, but I'll just name a few, and most are on the jazz side. Philly Joe Jones, Elvin Jones, Jack DeJohnette, Buddy Rich,
Those are our masters. Okay.
Louis Hayes. There are a ton of cats. Dennis Chambers, Sonny Emery. You know, I'm influenced by everybody. Because you can get something from everybody if you just check it out. If it's just one little idea,
Yeah.
you can get it.
So tell me about this project now.
Funk Asylum.
Funk Asylum. Yeah. Funk Asylum 1. What does that mean? What does that
Could
mean?
be a 2,
Could be a 2. Okay.
maybe even a 3.
So, tell me
So the executive producer, Lindsey Nelson, I was introduced to by the great John Clayton, world-class bassist, who played with Count Basie and has his own, the Clayton Hamilton Jazz Orchestra, Diana Krall, any number of people. I was introduced to Lindsey by John. So now, this past summer I was on tour. We were on tour with Chicago. And I get a phone call. It was Lindsey. He said, man, I got this project I'm doing. Would you be interested in producing? I left it at that. I gave him a yes. And so as I came off tour and we were getting into the, you know, he began to call me more. We started setting things up and talking. So here we are. I never went to any of the rehearsals. I waited until we got into the studio. Let me tell you the cool thing about doing this project. We cut 8 tracks in one day, unheard of. And the tracks are solid. You can only do that if you're well rehearsed and everybody knows exactly what they're doing. And that's what I got with this. My job here, and I can't even call it a job, I'm just having a ball. It's been very cool. Lindsey had me do was recommend an engineer. So our engineer is Dave Rideau, who was introduced to me by Maurice White many years ago. I've been working together forever. I said, well, you got to call Dave Rideau. And so Lindsey then asked Dave, well, we need a studio. Can you suggest? Here we are. So this has been easy, and I'm loving every moment of it. I have not done a full production album since Howard Hewitt's Christmas record,
how long ago was that?
2010.
Wow. Okay.
And then before that, the only other full production album I ever did was on The Temptations. Myself and Al McKay. Al called me. He said, man, you want to help me produce The Temptations? I said, okay, you're joking, right? He says, no, man, Motown just called me. You want to help? Co-produce it. I said, yeah. So that album is called Truly For You, and the hit off of that album was Treat Her Like a Lady. Ollie Woodson, who sang the lead on that, knocked it out in one take. He wrote it, and he came in and sang it. Incredible vocalist.
So for this project,
Yes.
how did you creatively contribute to this project?
Normally, a producer would have to pick the songs that are being recorded. I didn't have to do that. They had already come with the list. So My job here is just to make sure it feels good, it's sounding good,
Right.
but I didn't have to pick any of the material. So that's kind of my job creatively, just making sure it's all feeling good, sounding right. But normally I would have had to pick the songs
Okay.
because that's the producer's job. We're going to do such and such and such, but I didn't have to do that in this case. And it's cool. And our selection of songs, all 8 tracks are great. You got to really coordinate everything that goes on. I'm having a ball, and it's a great group of people. This is a highly creative group of people that I'm working with, and I'm just pleased to be a part of it. Funk is one of those mysterious intangibles in the music world. Everybody can do it. And it is rhythm based. It is not melodic, it is rhythm based. And if it's rhythm based, you're going to need 3 instruments: drums, bass, and guitar. James Brown proved it over and over again. His stuff was rhythm based. All the horns and all the rest of that stuff went on top. That rhythm down there, it's all about the drums, bass, and the guitar. You know, it's a very special chemistry that comes about. You can't come in, this is not the time to come and rehearse.
Right.
You got to come in here and cut it.
Right.
Do all your rehearsing out there. So that's why this project has gone so fast, because they came in well rehearsed. Makes a big difference. I think this project is going to turn some heads because it's a look back at the way music used to sound, the retro sound. And it is my hope that people will jump on it and go, man, what is this? The technology has moved beyond what we were doing back in the 80s and 90s. And so you're going to have a different sound with this record. It's going to be a fuller sound, maybe crispy clean. Gone are the days of analog. It's all digital.
So, is there anything you want to say about what you're doing here?
Let me say that it's good to be back in the studio.
Good. Yeah.
And coming into the studio, I tried to bring some of the things I learned from sitting up under Maurice White, watching him work with us, Earth, Wind, and Fire. And some of it is paying off. You know, I think there's a blessing on this project. I think it's special. I think the people involved are very special. And I think we're going to make some noise.